Oh, we are live. My bad. What's going on, my brother? Can you hear me? Hello, Kyle.
Hey, what's up, man?
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
My bad, my bad. I was trying to get us some water. I don't know. It was like a minute before I went downstairs, but all right. Well, with that being said, we are live. Man, I gotta put on my glasses, man, because the shades on, because it's like 91 degrees out, man. You already know what it.
I understand.
Yeah, I was out, man. I was burning up, but it's a little summer addition to the show. I have my Ray Bans on. But how you doing? How you doing, man?
I'm good. It's, I mean, we're gonna get into a lot of it, but I don't know. I'm good. Like I said, I'll save it for when we get into some of these topics because there's, some of these players that getting a lot of attention. I'm kind of over. We're getting into, I guess, the All-Star break for the MLB, which I think is always
Do you, by the way, do you have I watched the Wire to Wire last night. Did they do it? Did they get it from that website? Like the lineup list, or did they create their own list, or was that like the official?
For the All-Star game?
Yeah, or was it on their website, the MLB website?
No, you can pull that up from like MLB.com and all that.
All right. Yeah, I guess. I mean, I wasn't really gonna plan on having like the MLB because I know we got MLB or NBA and NFL to talk about, but definitely fit in some MLB. I do want to say, since I'm a Yankee fan, I forgot to say it on the last show that I know it sucks because you're a Boston fan, but Domingo Herman, if no one has noticed, against the Oakland Athletics, Domingo Herman. He had a perfect game, so I want to definitely tip my hat up to that. So for baseball fans, or non-baseball fans, what that means is there's a shutout, which means I'll explain. So a shutout means it's like 10-0, but there's runs still on the board, or no, there's hits and stuff allowed. Then there's a no hitter, which means that guys can get on base. You can get hit by a pitch, but a no hitter means so basically if Yankees play Boston would have like 10 hits compared to Boston 0, which I hate to bring that example because I'm just saying as an example.
We know that would never happen, but hey, this is your scenario.
But a perfect game is that means nobody throughout the 9 innings let a guy on base. So non-baseball fans, there's home plate, first base, second base, third base, and obviously home plate. And then the pitcher's mound. But a perfect game is nobody touches base. That means no walks, no hit by pitches. And I think Domingo Herman is the first Dominican-born player to do it. The 24th. Yeah, cause I think the last one is 2011. I think it was
I was just thinking about the Dominican part. That's probably
I think true. He is. He's Dominican-born player from like that country to get it. He's the 24th player of MLB history to get a perfect game. Mm-hmm. And he is the 4th Yankee to ever do it in a pinstripes. And history tells it. History has spoken and says that the last 3 pitchers to get a perfect game at the Yankees pitcher, all 3 of those pitchers, that team has been to the World Series. So maybe this is our year.
That's not happening.
We will see.
It's not happening.
So for everyone who doesn't know, I'm a Yankee fan, and my co-host Kyle is a Boston fan. Don't tell me how that happened. I mean, we're best friends. We play on video games together, but me and him got some beef when it comes to baseball, man, because I hate Boston, man.
It's fine.
But
it's all good.
I just want to give my shout out
because I can't stand the Yankees. But it's all
good. Why? Because we're the best team, man, or we've been the best team.
You're not though. You're not.
Not right now. But we have been winning some games. We were like 7-3 in the last 10 games. I think.
Not even. But I mean, look, if you looked around baseball, you'd be like, Yankees are. I don't know. Like I wouldn't put them ahead of the Dodgers. I wouldn't put them ahead of the Braves. I wouldn't put them ahead of the Rays. I mean, the Orioles still have stuff to prove, but I mean, the Orioles are having a better season right now. But I don't know how long it's going to last because we got to see if Baltimore can, continue that play. But yeah, I mean, there's still some teams for the Yankees to climb over, and we already know that the Astros have been a thorn in their side come postseason. Just got to see how it plays out. That's what the Yankees have to do. This group just has to make the World Series. There's been a lot of hype behind some of these Yankee teams, and they've just fallen short. Plus, my Red Sox might have a second half run in them.
Yeah, I didn't check the standings. I know Orioles are doing pretty good. Let me check the standings real quick. Yeah, I know we don't really touch on baseball like that because obviously it's a long season. So, but obviously the All-Star game's coming up. So it's good to talk about some baseball. I mean, I think Oakland are moving to Las Vegas in a couple of years. Their stadium is horrible right now in Oakland. So maybe that's a good fit. Vegas.
There's some interesting stories about Oakland too.
Just in a couple of years. Yeah.
Like the city basically saying that the owner of the team made like outrageous demands because he knew the city would never comply with it. But then when he starts talking to Vegas, he's like, oh yeah, he came down from his demands to Vegas just to show that he really just wants to get the team out of Oakland, which, Oakland lost the football team. Looks like they're about to lose their baseball team. The Warriors kind of distance from Oakland. They're now like San Francisco. It's been a rough couple of years for Oakland.
Yeah, that's true. So looking at the standings, Tampa Bay, they have the best record in baseball with 57-32. Baltimore is right behind them, 50 and 35. Texas Rangers are 51-36. I didn't know about that. Houston 49-38. We're right behind them at 48-39. Blue Jays right behind us, 46-40. Minnesota 45-43. Your Boston is right behind them at I think 8 or 9, at 44-43. So that's trash. But I mean, well, it's true. Like if the playoffs started today, you would not be in the playoffs. I don't think.
No, they're 4 games out of a wild card spot.
But that's not. I mean, it's not the case. I mean, obviously, there's a long season to go.
Mm-hmm.
And the worst team is the A's. Well, no, I'm sorry. That's in the. Well, I look at the league. My bad.
No, the A's are the worst team.
So ATL is leading at 58 and 28.
Yeah, the Braves now have the best record. They've passed the Rays. Yeah.
It's kind of weird to see how like these good teams like LA and the Mets, like last year, like they were at the top. Now, I mean, the Mets are sitting at 40 and 46. I mean, St. Louis was riding the coattail last year. Now they're sitting at 35 and 51. I know what Albert Pujols kind of retired. I know he's not really a game changer now because he's past his prime, but he retired, so they don't really have, Do they still have Yadier Molina on that team, the catcher?
No, I think the Molinas are. Yeah, I think the Molinas are done. I believe because I think Yadier, I think Benji. Yeah, I think those guys have retired.
Yeah.
Unless there's a younger Molina somewhere.
I think the last remaining Cardinal, I think, is a Wainwright. I believe that he's a pitcher or a Carpenter. No, a Carpenter. I think Wainwright, Adam Wainwright.
I think I believe they still have Wainwright. I mean, the Cardinals have Nolan Arenado. It's just that some of the other pieces around him have been kind of in and out of the lineup. And plus, with the Cardinals, I don't think they were expecting like that much from them. Like the only real disappointments, if you really look at baseball, the Mets, because the Mets, I think, have the highest payroll in baseball. Clearly not paying off for them. Plus, in that division, with the Braves continuing to create space between them, it just makes the Mets season look worse and worse.
Mm-hmm.
The Padres, who they have like every top name shortstop you can think of on their team, just hasn't worked. I think they're going to probably have to move one of them. Seems like Machado could be the odd one out. How much is National League wise? The Marlins are a surprise in the National League to some. I mean, the Marlins have had really good young talent for the past couple of years. Just for them, that is finally all clicking together and they're having a really good season. The Reds as well. Reds are a surprise. Although, the National League Central, I don't know if there's ever really any surprises in that division because a lot of those teams are just so close that you just never know who will come out on top from year in and year out. The American League, I don't know if there's any real surprises. Because I knew eventually the Orioles were going to be good. They just had too much young talent on that team to be bad year in and year out.
Mm-hmm.
The Angels slipping, although that's kind of like a yearly thing.
Yeah, isn't Mike Trout out again?
Yeah, he's gonna miss. Was it 4 to 8 weeks?
Yeah, I saw like 6 to 8 weeks or something like that.
Something like that. Time frame.
I don't think with the wrist or something.
Trout now.
Do you think
Trout
that
misses games?
Oh, I think that's not coach. That's
Conman.
Mike Conman.
Yeah, what's going on, Conman?
But do you think that? I mean, it's good we're talking about baseball because I want to incorporate baseball into the show. I know it's fun to talk about. I know it's boring to watch on live, but it's I love playing the game. But since the All-Stars coming up, speaking of the AL division or like the conference, do you think that I saw like an article or like some post on Instagram or somewhere on Twitter that do you think that the Angels have wasted Mike Trout's like prime?
No.
Or do you think that's all on him with him getting injured and stuff?
I mean,
because like he's listed as one of the not the GOATs yet, but he's still one of listed as like one of the with Aaron Judge, like the elite players that when healthy a team would like to fight for. Like Ohtani. Yeah. I know Ohtani is like hot star Judge, Yoran Alvarez, like those big name stars. Obviously, obviously that with the Angels, they've had Rendon. He's been hurt. I think his best years were in Washington. But do you think that, is it fair to say that the Angels have wasted his, Mike Trout's potential, or not potential, but like his prime?
I mean, that's kind of a tough one, only because baseball, with it being a 9-man lineup, you've got a 5-man rotation, you got bullpen, like everything has to kind of come together for you to win it all. I will say for Trout, who for basically since he came into Major League Baseball, he's been seen as the best player in the league. I do think some of that has to fall on him, that they haven't had the success that people probably thought they were going to. Especially now you add in Ohtani, who I would say Ohtani's the best player in baseball. No question about it.
He's got hurt too, I think. So he's out.
I mean, yeah. And
that's
kind of like saying injuries are expected because it's a long season.
Well, Mike Trout has been injured a couple times, though. It's not like this his first rodeo. So
well, that's true, but it's not like Trout's just a DH or something. Like you play in the field night in and night out. You're up at bat. You could foul a pitch off your leg the wrong way, hurt something.
I think that's what Rendon did the other day. He fouled off of his chin.
I mean, that's the kind of stuff that can happen. So I don't know if they've wasted Trout's time. I just think it's just been unfortunate because if you look at it, his time, you could say the Astros have been really good. The Yankees have been good over that time. The Red Sox have had their years in there. I mean, there's been some surprise years where you might say how come Trout couldn't make his way through, like the Royals year when they won it all, which still probably the most surprising thing that ever happened in sports to me recently. So I just think it's just been the wrong time for him. Now, I still can't figure out how the Angels don't make the postseason at least. I can see that they haven't won a World Series, but a lot of Trout's years, they don't even make the playoffs. That's where I think some of that's on Trout, of course, but maybe the front office bringing in the wrong guys to pair up with him or whatever the case has been. I do think there is some probably untapped potential that they could have had, more success building around Trout, especially now the past couple of years with Trout and Ohtani, and that still hasn't led them to a postseason berth. I think there's a lot of blame to go all around. I mean, you could throw Trout in there as well, but it is kind of funny that Trout and Ohtani are probably two of the 5 best players in baseball, and they can't get it done.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like Barry Bonds was the best player on some of those Giants teams to the point where they were pitching around him. Somehow those teams found ways to make the postseason, and I think they had a World Series appearance. So I don't know. It's baseball's weird like that as well. Because I could say, what's another team? Like, look at the Dodgers. The Dodgers have had all this talent, but the only World Series they got was the COVID shortened season where they only played like 65 games. The Dodgers won that World Series, but they haven't won one after that.
Now Trey Turner on another team. He's in Philly. Now Dustin. What's his name?
Justin Turner's gone.
Justin Turner, he's on your team.
Yeah. But they still have a lot of talent. Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman. Like, they're still a stacked team. I still think that the Dodgers probably have the most pressure amongst the better teams in baseball to win it all, because you can't tell me with all this money that they're spending that the only World Series they could get was a shortened season, I guess their version of the bubble. They spend way too much money for that to be the only World Series.
I forgot they even won that World Series. I mean, I don't want to.
That's what I'm saying. Most people, I think, forgot all about that season.
You missed the intro, Jerry. Sorry, you came late to the parties, but it's a new vibe.
Because the Yankees' future is so bright.
Well, I do want to put out that
Coach is in here as well.
I do want to put out that I forgot Herman. He is the first pitcher to do a perfect game in the pitch clock era too. I forgot about that. Because I think the last one
is also a factor. I think.
Yeah, that's a huge factor because I mean, obviously, a pitcher and a batter has a limited time to get his stuff right, and plus, without any interruptions, because Domingo Herman is known to have some sticky stuff occasionally on the glove sometimes. But this is the first instance. I'll admit it. I'm not saying we're cheating, but I'm saying Severino had a couple times. I forgot who that pitcher was. It wasn't Severino. It was a couple years back. Forgot it was like with that pine tar, whatever that pine tree stuff. I forgot it wasn't Severino though. It was another dark-skinned Dominican. I can't remember his name. But what up, Coach? What up, Jory? Quite as kept, there is no salary cap in baseball. That's on the owners. How you guys doing? For the A, I don't know what that means. With the flex, I'm hashtag for the A. I don't know. But yeah, thank y'all for tuning in.
Flexing for the Braves.
Oh, maybe.
Braves are stacked. They are stacked.
But yeah, that's another important thing to put out that he is the first pitcher to do in the pitch clock era. And that means I think every inning the umpires check the pitcher's glove. So without having a clean game in the pitch clock era, that's pretty big to say.
I'm actually good that you brought that up because I kind of thought they did that as well every half inning. But I feel like I've seen some pitchers walk off and some half innings they don't. But then when like it's later in the game, they'll check him again. So I don't know if it's like every other inning or something like that, but yeah, that is also part of it. Like if you get caught with it now, it's just like you're just trying to be, stubborn.
Yeah. I think they check it like every. So I guess when the pitchers they get the 3 outs, I guess I think they check it every half inning. So when they go back to the dugout, they check. He rubs his finger against the glove or whatever. So, but
yeah,
I mean,
they check like their fingertips. I think the inside of the glove.
Yeah. Remember, I think wasn't it Musgrave like a couple years ago on the Padres? He had like the sticky behind his ear, but it was like sweat or something like that. But I think it was on the Padres. I think maybe have you done back that story how like he had it behind his ear? I think it was.
But wasn't like
Musgrave?
a couple.
No, I'm sorry. Is he a pitcher?
Yeah, Musgrove is a pitcher.
Musgrove, yeah. Or it might have been another pitcher. I'm not sure.
But these players try everything. They'll do it on their hat. I think they've had a couple like on their belt because they'll also check the pitcher's belt as well.
I just don't. I mean, I get the whole like you want to be sneaky, but I just don't get this. Obviously you want to take an advantage of like the game, but no, it's not a good thing. I think they should do the natural way.
What's up, Keith?
What's going on?
Well, for a lot of pitchers, they feel like when you first give them the baseball, they think the baseball's kind of too smooth, which is why they always try to do whatever for grip. It used to be, like the bullfrog spray mixed with a little rosin bag to get a grip. They did away with that. The pine tar stuff, which batters put on their bat, they would go to that just to create a little extra stick to get grip on the ball. We used to see pitchers like going like that. They're rubbing it to try to scuff it up, create grip as well. So, like, there's reasons that they try to do it, but I guess for baseball, they have to keep this clean image despite the steroid era and like the Black Sox way back in the day. They want to, portray that they're the clean sport in America, which they're far from, but that's neither here nor there because a lot of the baseball writers have a kind of like holier than thou type of look. Also, Key asked, y'all talking about Ellie? No, Jordan was talking about Domingo Germán with his perfect game. Oh, Ellie is
who's
Ellie De La Cruz from the Reds.
Oh yeah. Did you hear about that? It was like the other day, like yesterday. I forget who the coach was. But he kind of like he had this little thing on his bat, and they told him to like.
I was like, what part do you think that's gonna enhance? Well, it was just like a little cap, kind of like on the end of the bat. I didn't understand that at all.
People in the comments were like, "It's just to track like speed or something of the bat or something like that." But I heard that like the way he kind of like holds the bat, I heard it's like a piece where like since it's kind of like extension of the bat, he holds that part to like because he does hold both his hands towards the end, like the butt of the bat, like to the base. So maybe he had the thing to like extend the bat out. I don't know.
Some of these managers just they're trying to be petty.
I don't see how he could have saw that in the dugout, like clear little piece. I don't know.
He just wanted to mess with him. And like Keith said, I love the fact he hit the home run and then he turned to them, pointed at it, and then dropped the bat. I love that.
Wait, are you talking about a different player? Because I know he struck out after that.
No, he hit a home run that game.
Really? No, because I saw the clip and he struck out. He had to take it off and he struck out. Are you talking about?
No, I know he hit a home run with the bat and he pointed at the dugout and pointed to the bottom of his bat and then dropped it. Yeah, and
really.
He said
maybe ESPN showed a different clip because they showed them it was like a 20-minute wait, and then because they were deciding how to like go about this, and then he struck out. But maybe ESPN played a different clip. I don't know. I would assume he hit his home run.
It might have been in the bat later in the game where he hit the home run.
Yeah,
he had the thing back on his bat, so it's.
Oh, he put it back on his bat, like the little clear piece.
I mean, there's nothing. Look, if the only thing you need to worry about as a hitter or the other dugout is like if you think the bat is corked, for the most part, you're not really going to see that unless the bat's broken, like what happened to Sammy Sosa when he, bat smashed like straight down the middle and they were looking at it and they realized it was corked and he got ejected and then he tried to say that was like his batting practice bat that somehow got mixed in with his game bats. So, yeah, the whole De La Cruz thing was just, I feel like the other manager was just trying to mess with him and throw him off, because since he's kind of got going with the Reds, he's one of the hottest players in baseball right now.
Oh yeah, and they're because and that was the next segment. I didn't really have any topics in baseball. I just wanted to talk about like the All-Star game, but I like talking about baseball. So I was gonna ask you like what. I mean, the Reds are a surprising team for me that kind of has took a leap because they're always like in the last of the the standings and stuff. So I was gonna ask you like what team do you think is like the most surprising that you didn't expect to be like or do you have any team or teams that I know it's off the rip? I didn't
I got
plan for this, but
I mean the National League actually has a couple of teams that are a bit surprising this year. The Reds, the Marlins are a surprise, I think. I would say
they got that young dude. Who's that dude that's like Alvarez? I think
Arias.
Arias
with hitting 400, which if you can get that done, that's an incredible feat as well. Like Coach said, the Diamondbacks, like those three in the National League, where they are right now, because the Diamondbacks are in that division with Padres, the Dodgers, who all spend a lot of money, but the Diamondbacks are leading that division. They have Corbin Carroll, who's another young player that's doing really well. Because I remember when the Red Sox played against them, Carroll had a really good series. So those would be my three in the National League. American League maybe a surprise, but not for a good reason. The Blue Jays. I thought the Blue Jays would probably be winners of the AL East. Right now they're in third, and they're just a couple of games ahead of they're in fourth right now, and they're only a couple of games ahead of the Red Sox. So there's a chance that the Blue Jays could find themselves last place. Now, I get it that the AL East is just a really good division, but that's surprising to me. I mean, Keys brought up the Rays. Although the Rays at this point, I expect the Rays to be good, even though they still don't spend a lot of money. They just know how to find young talent in the draft and develop. They are the best at that.
Keys still on my team. I don't say Baltimore because Baltimore usually falls off the cliff like around this time, but
Baltimore's kind of in the same boat. Baltimore's been so bad for so long. That they had to hit on some of these prospects. And now it's just happening all at one time. We saw it kind of the second half of last season. To see Baltimore in the postseason, to be honest with you. But
I think your audio
can have for them to stay up there.
I think your audio kind of, I don't know if they heard your audience heard you talk. I kind of cut out for me, like your audio is, but you're good now.
Okay.
I'm surprised. Yeah, Keith said you're stuck in the multiverse for a minute.
I don't know what happened.
Yeah, Keith. So Keith kind of stole my team. Baltimore. I mean, obviously, since I've lived in Baltimore, I've always been a Yankee fan, but every time the Baltimore, they would always get beat. Like you said, they were always bad. But I feel like they got a wonderful they got a handful of young talent like Ryan Mountcastle. They have Chris Mullen. They have I think they have Justin Holiday. Henderson. They have Holiday's son coming
Rushman.
up. Adley Rutchinson. And then they have Justin Holiday's son coming up too, which he was like the Baltimore's first round pick, I think. Young kid coming up through the AAA. So they got a young squad. There was a time when they had Crush Davis era, and then they had Adam Jones, and that was back in the day. But Baltimore, they had some good players. They had Brian Roberts. They had Sammy Sosa. They had obviously Kyle Ripken at one point back in the day. Mm-hmm. But I feel like after Kyle Ripken, they kind of fell apart, that team. But now they're looking young. They're looking strong. They're looking better. And other than the Rays, they're kind of leading the division. They're right up there in the division. I think we're right behind them. You're I think the Blue Jays are right behind us, and then I think you're like the last in the division right now. But they're in like a good spot in the division, the Orioles. So they're in a good spot overall for the future. As far as youth and talent. And yeah, so I'm excited to see where Baltimore goes. Kyle's talking to him. I'm not surprised that the Rangers are in first place. They always get hit. They always could. They always get hit. They always could hit. They have problems pitching at times, and the Rangers relief pitching is really bad. I mean, I feel the same for my Yankees, man, because right now, like we're good. As records wise, but like we kind of rely on
home runs.
I mean, it sucks that the way Andrews got hurt in LA made a wonderful catch. And I saw a topic, I think it was like uninterrupted. They had like, those like time segments, like a minute segments. And one of the questions was like, do you think that the top players, like outfielders, like Aaron Judge and like the Mike Trouts, should they risk a play like that, knowing they're going to get hurt? Because obviously that catch that Judge had was a spectacular catch, but
it's a freak thing.
And also that's a stadium problem too. Obviously, Aaron Judge is a big dude. He's like 6'7", 280 or 260. So obviously, when you're running full speed to a wall, I mean, you expect that to be secure, but that's a stadium kind of, I guess, issue. They said they can't. I think they came out with the same thing.
We apologize. Toe injury, like it's not something that happens every day.
It doesn't.
Yeah. So, I mean, if Aaron Judge wants to get around that, then I guess be a DH or a first baseman, but then that kind of takes away from the player that he is. So I don't think it's that big of a deal. It's just, like I said, freak injury.
Cause I think he said that his toe injury would take like 2 to 3 years to be fully healed. That's what he said. But I think he's in like the
wild.
Yeah. But he said he's in like the rehab process of like hitting and stuff. Like what's it called when like a batter like gets like hit in practice and stuff. So he's getting his like rehab up, I guess, to come back. So obviously they're gonna have to monitor that toe. But I mean, definitely the surprising team I had was the Orioles. Because usually like last year, like they did so good in the first half, and they take kind of like the last after the All-Star break. But that's a team that has to stay afloat. And they have the right pieces to do that. I think like they have the young talent. They have with that. But a surprising team that I see obviously it's not really a surprise because they lost their closer in Diaz like in the World Baseball Classic. The Mets. I mean, they had all that talk. Pete Alonso, Francisco Lindor, all those. They were up there. I know they lost to the Braves. I think last year. A team that I expected to be up there in the standings. They're like last in the standings. So, and I think Pete Alonso's hurt. I think so. A team that I was kind of like 50-50 on like if they would do good or not was the Mets. I thought they were going to be a little bit better than they were this year, but I know they didn't have their closer. Diaz,
you can't. If your team is built that just missing a closer has set their season back like this, then they got.
Oh no, I didn't know. I didn't say all that. I'm saying I knew they were going to go downhill with that, like with that domino.
They should have been able to, get around that. They have enough talent offensively. It's just like Coach says, Alonso is kind of part of the problem with a lot of power hitters today. Because you see a lot of power hitters will hit like 215, but they'll hit like 40 home runs. Yeah, that's all great and everything, but kind of need you to get on base as well, which is like I tell you all the time, like one of the issues I have with the Yankees, because the way that their ballpark is, they built for power. Problem is, you go up against a really good pitching staff, they can neutralize that. Then what do? And that's where the Mets are kind of running into that right now. They have a lot of guys who, if you just look down their lineup, you'd be like, oh, great player, great player, great player. Yeah, but collectively, they are just underperforming. It's just a sign of them wasting money, where Teams like the Rays do it every year. They don't spend a lot, but they have guys who can do multiple things to beat you. They can play small ball, move base to base, steal bases, play great defense, have the pitching to go with it. A lot of these big market teams don't build their team that way. They feel like, oh, we just need power and we'll beat you that way. No, you need all-around teams. At least now it seems like that's what you need. You need all-around pitching, hitting, situational play to be a good team. And the Mets don't have that right now.
Yeah. So I do have the website pulled up for like it was not the same roster thing as like Jeans on Wire to Wire, but I do have it pulled up. So let me show this. So the All-Star game is in Seattle this year.
Yep.
Which is I heard that's a beautiful stadium.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the complete list. So in the American League, you got the catcher. So when you see an asterisk by their name, that means it knows a player that was inactive or chosen not to play. So I'm assuming Aaron Judge, he's kind of like inactive because he's hurt.
There's not a chance he'll be in it. And Trout, same thing.
Oh, so Aaron doesn't want to be in it at all, like a DH or anything?
I mean, if you're a Yankee fan,
they don't have.
But let's put it this way: if you were a Yankee fan and you hear that he's talking about years before his toe gets healthy, would you want him at the All-Star game? I'd say skip it.
Maybe I wouldn't want him to play the game, but maybe like be like a DH's hit.
Nah. Because that's hitting puts pressure on your toes.
They don't have. That's true. They don't have the asterisk on Shohei Ohtani, so maybe it's not updated because he's hurt. But I don't know how long.
I think Ohtani has an outside chance of playing in it. I think he won't pitch, but he could still DH.
So all right, so we have Yona Heim, the Rangers, catcher. Yandy Diaz, Tampa Bay, first base. Marcus Semien, Texas Rangers. So we got a couple of Texas Rangers on here. Josh Young, Texas Rangers. Corey Seager, Texas Rangers. Going to be a shortstop. So Josh Young's going to be third base. Mike Trout, probably not going to play, outfielder. Obviously a Judge, but he's not going to play. Shohei, depending on the question mark on him to see if he's going to play. So the reserve, Salvador Perez, the catcher for the Kansas City, Chiefs, Kansas City Royals.
Because they have to have a representative. That's the only reason why he's there.
Who Salvador?
Yeah.
That's
the only reason why he's there.
Ali Russelsman, Baltimore. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Toronto infielder. Whit Merrifield, Toronto. Bubba Shett, Toronto. Jose Ramirez from Cleveland. Tampa Bay, Wander Franco. Let me say that with that plus named L. So he
was named. I think he was the Trout replacement, I believe.
Well, they have him as an infielder though. So doesn't Trout play outfield, or does it don't matter?
I mean, it's the All-Star game. You can figure it out. You can. They have enough, like you see there. There's enough outfielders that are replacements that I don't know, Tucker or Alvarez or whoever they could just throw out there to start. I feel like Franco was named as replacement for.
I don't see any Boston players, man. We're having to what happened to?
Okay, we got Kenley Jansen, the closer. Although,
what happened to the third base? Oh my gosh, man.
Got Rob Devers.
No, Devers. He got. I mean, I figured he'd be in there, but.
I thought the Red Sox were going to get somebody between, because I know they're not having the year to warrant like 4 or 5 guys.
Okay, now here we go. Kenley Jansen.
I thought the Red Sox would get somebody out of Devers, Verdugo, Yoshida, one of those guys, but it's all right.
So for the reserves, Wander Franco, Luis Robert Jr., Austin Hayes from Baltimore, Yordan Alvarez. I'm pretty sure he's either hurt or doesn't want to play. Because that means means either those two options.
I think he's hurt.
Adolis Garcia, Kyle Tucker, Julio Rodriguez, and Brent Booker. For pitchers, Shohei Ohtani, Garrett Cole, the home favorite, Luis Castillo, Seattle, Sonny Gray from Minnesota, Nathan Uvalde from the Rangers, Kevin Gooseman from the Toronto, Shane McClellan to Tampa Bay. I don't think he's hurt. Framber Valdez, Michael Lorenzen, and then George Kirby. For the relief pitchers, Kenley Jansen, Emmanuel Chase, Felix Bautista, and Yannier Cano. So that's the AL conference side. For the NL side, we got Sean Murphy from Atlanta, Freddie Freeman from LA, from the Dodgers, Louise.
Just get used to just a lot of Braves and Dodgers in the starting lineup.
Louise Arez, Nolan Arenado from St. Louis, Orlando Arcia from Atlanta, Ronald Acuna, which he was hurt, so I'm not surprised, but definitely a big, since he was, I think, in an ACL, I think, last year. So him from Atlanta, Mookie Betts, LA Dodgers, Corbin Carroll from Arizona, and JD Martinez from the Dodgers. For the reserves, Will Smith, not the Fresh Prince. Elias Diaz from Colorado, Matt Olson from Atlanta, Ozzy Albies from Atlanta, Austin Riley from Atlanta. Damn, got the whole Atlanta squad on there. Dansby Swanson.
They're that good, man.
Yeah.
That's Chicago. Dansby Swanson was the shortstop in Atlanta last year.
He was nice. Pete Alonso, I think he's hurt, but I think he's back. Lourdes Guerrero Jr., Arizona. Nick Castellanos is from Philly. Juan Soto, and then Jorge Soler, or George Soler. For the pitchers, got Zach Gallen from Arizona. Spencer Strider from Atlanta. Bryce Eller from Atlanta. It might well make the whole squad in Atlanta, man. Justin Steele, Chicago Cubs. Mitch Keller from Pitt, Josiah Gray. I'm surprised we didn't see. I'm surprised we didn't see the dude from the Reds, the hitter.
Who, Ellie?
Yeah.
His timing was weird because if he had started this season, Cincinnati, I guarantee he would have been there. I think they only called him up like a few weeks ago, so it'd be tough for people to vote for him. Although couple people drop out, they might slide him in there.
I wouldn't be happy. He might be in a home run derby, I think. Actually, I'm gonna go to that next season that they did the home run derby.
They already announced the bracket unless somebody drops out of it.
Okay. Who do we leave off? Okay, so Bryce Edler, Justin Steele, Mitch Keller, Josiah Gray, Clayton Kershaw, I think he's hurt. Marcus Stroman, relievers, Alexis Diaz. Josh Hader, Devin Williams, Camilo Doval, and David Bednar. So as far as that, I can hide that right now. And then you said they had the bracket?
Yeah, the home run derby bracket's already up.
Let me catch up on the comments. So damn.
Yeah, Coach,
thank you, Coach, for.
Mets.
Man, I gotta. Yeah. So I'm not surprised that Orioles pitching is not really all that good. Let me pitching help. Day batteries are really good. Batters are really good, but the Orioles need pitching help.
Mm-hmm.
New York Mets is a crappy baseball team. They cannot hit runners in scoring position. Pilonzo has all the power, but can't hit that average. Lindor has been a frustrating player for them. Mad Max is frustrated. Verlander getting hit around and just a combination of a bunch of power batters, home run, and a bust for the Mets. McNeil is pretty much the only person I can hit the contact in the lineup. Alvarez is hurt, and I don't think he's going to play, but he's still going, and he's close to coming back. All right, let me look for the home run.
Oh, speaking of Verlander, though, because if you looked at last offseason, a lot of people were paying attention to Verlander and Scherzer. I think both those guys have kind of struggled this year. I know Scherzer struggled, a lot early on. I don't know if he's turned his season around.
Yeah, I know DeGrom had to get surgery.
Yeah, DeGrom was another guy. Has not panned out. Coach said Pete Alonso doesn't deserve to be in the All-Star game. He's been really bad outside of hitting home runs. Yeah. They have a rocky relationship, Verlander and Max. That's rough.
So they have the. So I guess to show this, let me see. It's kind of laggy, man. They got a rocky relationship to Verlander and Max.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a bracket. I think so. The first seed, Lewis Robert goes up against Adley, number 8.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on 1 second. Make sure this doesn't make any note. Okay, it's muted. So it goes 1-8, 2-7, 3-6, 4-5. Louis Robert Jr. Versus Adley Rutherford. Pete Alonso, he's always in. I feel like he's always in it. Versus that's gonna be a good matchup. Julio Rodriguez, Mookie Betts versus Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Adonis Garcia versus Randy Arozarena. So they break it down for us. The number 1 seed, Lewis Robert Jr., White Sox. He had 25 home runs when seeds were set. The longer home run 2023, 450 feet, July 4th versus Blue Jays. And the hardest home run hit, was at 113.6 miles per hour versus Astros on May 14th. When he's going up against Adley Rutherford, his longest home run was 424 feet, May 18th versus the Angels. His hardest home run hit was 111.1 miles per hour, May 9th versus the Rays. Pete Alonso at number 2. His longest home run was 448 feet on June 6th versus the Braves. And the hardest home run recorded for him this season was 113 miles per hour on June 21st against the Astros. I think he's going up against number 7, Julio Rodriguez.
Like to go with Coach's point, that's kind of the reason why he's a fan favorite. Because he does really well at home run derbies, and that helps him in the voting.
Got you. So Julio Rodriguez, his longest home run was 454 feet, May 7th versus the Astros. And the hardest home run hit by him this season was 112 miles per hour against my team, the Yankees.
I bet
it's all good.
Cole was pitching.
I don't know. Probably was. Mookie Betts. Stop laughing, man.
I'm just saying.
Longest home run hit from Mookie Betts was 426 feet, May 12th versus the Padres. Hardest home run hit in 2023 for him was 110 miles per hour. June 2nd versus the Yankees. Awesome.
Yankees pitchers just throwing BP fastballs up there.
Oh my God, another Yankees home run. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., his longest home run hit was 450 feet, May 3rd against the Red. Well, actually, I feel happy against the Red Sox.
Yeah, but they probably lost that game because they only beat the Red Sox once this year.
Hardest home run hit, 112.7 miles per hour against my Yankees. That's 3 in a row.
When they hit him against the Yankees, they get a hold of them.
Well, because your ballpark is home run friendly, so I mean, you have a freaking the Green Monster, man. So I can see I can see your face, man. I can't see your face come on the screen. Number 4 seed, Adolis Garcia, Rangers. Longest home run hit was 432 feet, April 22nd against the A's. And hardest home run hit was 112 miles per hour, June 20th against the White Sox. I think that's got one more. Oh yes, Randy. Oh, Randy Rosarena. He's in. Oh, okay. Um, his longest was 436 feet. April 2nd versus Tigers, and his hardest home run to hit recorded this season was 111.8 miles per hour. April 29th against the White Sox. I think it's the last player.
That's the last guy.
That's the last. All right, I can stop sharing.
I mean, it's an interesting field, for sure.
It's definitely they got the home. I mean, obviously, Luis Castillo and Julio Garcias, Julio Rodriguez. You know, the home run or the fan favorites there in Seattle. You know, obviously Castillo's a pitcher, so he'll be pitching.
Rodriguez has his first matchup against Pete Alonso is going to be tough because, like I said,
that's going to be a good one.
Alonso, he hits, he's good for home run derby. It's going to be tough for Rodriguez in front of the home crowd to match up with that. But,
and
who do you think would win?
What is it?
It's Monday, I believe.
Monday coming up?
Yep. Yeah, Monday,
so
8 o'clock.
The All-Star game is like, what, the day after?
Yes. Yeah, that Tuesday.
Are there any other events that they have? Do they have like
they
the celebrity game?
Celebrity softball game. I think those are like the three main things: the game, home run derby, celebrity game. Yeah. All right, so Coach has Guerrero Jr. winning it.
If I had to put money on somebody, well, what seeds can match up? Because I would say that in the final, I like to see Rodriguez and Alonso, but they're facing each other, so that's not going to happen.
I mean, you could have a final of.
I'm sorry, Juan Soto's on the home run derby.
Nah.
He was in there last year. He got close to winning it. I think it was against Alonso, I think, in the final. Oh, yeah, I didn't mean to cut you. Like you said, I'm trying to see who like the finals would be against. Like, would it be like? Is it AL versus NL?
No, they're doing it like playoff seeding style. So second round would be like 1 versus 4, 2 versus 3. That's like if all the favorites win, of course. And then, I mean, you could have a final of like, I'm trying to see.
Yeah, I'm trying to look at
interesting final.
But they said they had the bracket, but I don't see the bracket. Like,
yeah, they have a bracket up. I think you have to hold on.
Is it this one right here? I think you probably can't see it on my thing, but this is last year's, I think. Yeah, that was Chapman. Yeah, that's not it.
Hold on. If I pull it up, I'll share it. I know I saw it.
And don't they didn't they add some new rules like from last year? Like you get like extended time, I think. Like,
it's a good question. Yeah, I don't know if they changed any of the rules.
Not rule. I'm just saying like this, like for like the time and stuff, like extended. You get like a certain amount of home run, you get like 2 extra minutes, like the T-Mobile time. Maybe Coach knows more about that, like the rules and stuff. It's like a tournament style. Rodriguez did win it. Yeah, he did win it last year. He was destroying them balls, man.
Which I mean, like I said, he
wasn't in Colorado last year though, or was it in LA? I think
it's like a space in my mind right now.
Wasn't in Colorado? I swear it was in Colorado last year.
Yeah, so Coach is saying, I think you have to hit 2 home runs over 430. You get an extra 30 seconds. That rule I remember.
Yeah, that's.
I don't know if I don't think they've changed that or anything, but
yeah. That's what I meant. Yeah, if you get like a certain distance, I think you get an extra time.
You get to hit 2 home runs over 430, and you get an extra 30 seconds at the end.
Yeah, if you can pull the bracket up though, we can see if you found it, and then we'll get on to the real stuff, the NBA and the NFL, and then we can.
Okay, here.
At
Okay,
least
so
my
it looks like a
Astros.
brackets on like ESPN.
At least my Astros ain't on that list. Hey Jordan, how far did Pete Alonso hit a home run? I don't know. I don't care. Mess with trash. But I do want to go to a Mets game though. I heard they got the better food than the Bronx, man. I heard they got like
How you
Shake
gonna
Shack
trash
and
it
all
and
that.
tell me you want to go to a game?
No, because I want to go to like a Yankees and Mets game at Citi Field. I want to go because I heard like they
I
have
got you.
like better food, like Shake Shack, and they got better things to do. Because I've been
They gotta do something. The product on the field ain't worth watching.
No, but like my cousin Mikey said that like at Citi Field they have like more things to do. Like at Yankee Stadium you just have like you can drink and just nothing really fun. Like I mean they have like so I heard Citi Field they had like Shake Shack and different restaurants. It's more like kid friendly. There's different things to do, arcade and stuff. Like I mean I like Bronx. The Bronx Field is nice. It's a new stadium. It's just like there's nothing much to do other than like eat and.
It's a little league stadium.
What?
Yankee Stadium.
I think it's a Citi Field.
I thought you were talking Yankee Stadium. I just wanted to trash the Yankees real quick. There's your bracket.
But you're like last in the division. Keep talking, Kyle. Oh man. Oh, so we can potentially have. I would like to see. I would like to see Arena versus Rodriguez. That'd be a good one.
I mean, I could see that.
I like.
I think Rosarina is going to struggle against Garcia. I've seen
a couple
games.
That's all kind of timid to like say Rosarina, but I like. I like Guerrero Jr. I like him. We can definitely have a Guerrero versus Ali. I mean, any of these can happen. But I think you're right. I think that Rosarina will struggle against Garcia.
I think Robert's going to beat Rushman.
Who knows, man?
Catchers usually don't do well home run derby.
Yeah, I mean, but he's been blasting them, man. So, I mean, obviously he's in there for a reason, man. So hopefully anything can happen, man. But I mean, obviously Pete Alonso's still there. I think in the finals are going to be. I think it's going to be Rodriguez on the one side, and I think it's going to be. I'm gonna have Robert Jr. in the final, like them two.
I got Guerrero and Garcia.
See Guerrero, I like Guerrero too. All of them can hit home runs, man. On that side, P. Alonso at a clip, man. So it's gonna be good. It's gonna be a good one. So who do you have winning it though?
I kind of agree with Coach. I think Guerrero beats Garcia in the final. I know he's the lower seed against Betts because they do it based off of how many home runs you have. I don't know if Betts is a home run derby type of guy. I think Betts might struggle really badly.
Yeah, I definitely see Guerrero beating Betts. So I think for the second round, I have Guerrero versus. So it's only 3 rounds: first, second, third round. Third round is like the final round. So in the first round, I have Guerrero beating Betts. Then I have Rodriguez beating Pete Alonso. So I have them facing off in the second round.
Mm-hmm.
Then I have Rodrigo. I think my prediction is. See, I don't know because I think he's gonna feed into that crowd, man. Rodriguez, his home crowd. So I have Rodriguez beating Guerrero by close margin on that side, and then left I have Robert versus Garcia. Then I have Rodriguez facing Robert in the final, or Rodriguez in the final.
Okay.
and I have Rodriguez winning it. I think he's gonna feed off that energy, man, in Seattle. So
we'll see. We will see.
So-
Guerrero is going to be tough against him.
I mean,
I have Rodriguez beating Alonso, Guerrero beating Betts. I think Robert beats Rutschman. Garcia beats Rosarena. I got Garcia beating Robert Jr. to get to the final. Then Guerrero beating Rodriguez, and then Guerrero beating Garcia in the final.
yes, I didn't know who's on this home run derby list until now, so it's pretty good. It's a pretty good list. So I think that concludes the MLB talk. I mean, did we miss anything really? And I mean, we covered everything, right? I mean, did they have the celebrity out? People care about that really.
I feel like you get like the Miz in it every
Snoop
year.
Dogg, OBJ, probably, or freaking Travis Scott.
If I'm Baltimore, I don't want OBJ there. He might pull a hammy.
True.
Yeah, and then we'll have to see you trying to talk about, what's Lamar going to do with no OBJ?
Yeah, but he has been looking good, man. He's been training with Dave Flowers and Odell in Florida, so they're looking pretty good.
I mean, they're practicing on an open field with nobody playing defense. Of course, they're going to look good.
Well, Odell said he feels the best. He has felt the best.
Every new signing says that on a new team. That's the quote.
But he knows his body, man. I try. He came back from 2 ACL injuries. I mean, come on, Kyle, man. Let me have my shine, man.
But if the Patriots signed Deshaun Jackson tomorrow, Deshaun Jackson would be like,
no. Well, Coach, we didn't know we were gonna have MLB.
Yeah, we didn't know we were gonna talk baseball
because I know the All-Star game's coming up. Because I know my birthday's coming up on the 16th. I know it's before that. So, normally I don't talk about baseball. I want to fit into the show. But it's baseball kind of slow. It's a slow season. So, but All-Star games are on the corner. So,
the rules, a lot of people hated the rules, but the rules have definitely helped baseball out.
Oh yeah, last game I went to was when we lost to Boston, but Volpe almost hit that walk off.
That's
the
Yankees card at the end of the season. You almost did it.
But no, the pitch clock. It was pretty cool watching the clock. I think the game was like 7 p.m. Game ended like 9 p.m., 9:30. So yeah, it definitely feel the game of the process. I mean, Cole had a good game that game. I mean, he kind of held his own there. He had 6 innings, I think.
Except the home runs.
Yeah, I think he gave one to Devers, and I think
every time.
And I think it was another kidder. Can't think of his name. But Volpe, it was like a fingertip off of getting that walk off. Like people were right by the foul post. It was just inches away. But yeah, my bad, Coach. Yeah, we didn't know you were gonna have MLB on the show.
Anytime the Yankees lose is a good day for me. I pulled up the celebrity list. I mean, Donovan Mitchell's in it. Zach LaVine will be there.
He's in it?
Yep. Ryan Howard, former player. Adam Jones, who you just talked about, he's in it. Oh, wow. Mike Cameron, Brett Boone, Felix Hernandez. I mean, that's for the Seattle crowd. Who else? The Miz, who's in it every year, so wrestling fans, they already know he's there. Joe McHale, yeah, and then some other people. Yeah, it'd be cool to see Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
I can see him hit a home run or two.
Did the celebrity game that before the home run derby, or are they the same?
No,
day?
They say after.
Huh?
Yeah, that's after the home run derby. They say that for 10 o'clock or whatever.
10 o'clock our time? Well, it'll be different time for them.
It'll come out 10:30 our time. Because I don't think it's live either. I think that's a pre-recorded type thing.
Oh, really?
And they play it out. I don't think they do that live. I could be wrong, but
yeah.
It always comes on after the derby because they know that the derby may go out a little bit longer depending on how many home runs are hit and all that. and then they just throw on the celebrity game after that, and they call it a night.
All right. So that is it for the MLB talk, the segment. We're moving on to like the hour 10 of the show. So we're gonna move on to some NBA talk real quick, and then we'll talk about some football. Me and Kyle have our so each. I know we're ramping up for NFL content, but we will for the next couple of weeks. We'll be going over our actual list of like our QBs. We're gonna do QBs, running backs, and wide receivers list. So whatever list we put out, that will be our list. We'll analyze it throughout the season, see how we do it, see how we do. But first, we're going to send some NBA talk. Obviously, I know you keep on you're tired of hearing them, but Dame is still on. You're already shaking your head. So Dame is still out there. He wants to go to the Heat. That's his desired team. I think Portland has said that they don't want Hero, I don't think, or that's not enough.
They don't want what Miami's offering because it's just Hero, I guess Duncan Robinson, some picks, and a high five. Portland's like, okay, we'd rather. I mean, look, they tried Bridges in Brooklyn. They said no. I think they probably called the Celtics to see if they could get whatever. The whole thing with so the part with Dame I can't stand now is the agent coming out like, oh, if you're not in Miami and you trade for him, he's going to be unhappy. Like, if you really wanted to be in Miami that bad, then you shouldn't have signed the extension in Portland. What was that, last year or 2 years ago? You could have signed in Miami at that point if you really want to be there that bad. So it's Lillard putting pressure on the organization when it's not their job to send you where you want to go. Their job is to get the best return for you so that when you're not there, they feel like they're in a good position going forward. And I'm sorry, Miami cannot do that for Portland unless they throw in. Unless you're telling me I'm getting like Bam, Martin, Hero, fine, you can have Dame. But if you're Miami, would you do that at that point? If it's just Butler, Dame, and what? Duncan Robinson.
Yeah, because you have a point. Because like, if I'm in the front office of Portland, right? Like,
yeah,
if I'm gonna trade away Lillard, I would want some assets in return, like that. Because obviously we have Scoot, obviously we have Jeremy Grant. So I think I had a question. I think the question was for the topic. Should the Blazers fulfill Dame Lillard's request and send him to the Heat, or send him to whichever team that gets the best trade package? And I think the second option, obviously, yes, you would want to make Dame happy and send him off in his merry way. But if I'm from a business aspect, I really would want to, get some assets back. So, so that can open up the whole field. That can be any team, really, that can get the best assets. Do you see him going to Boston? I heard that, I don't know if it was the right numbers, but someone on ESPN said that Brown's contract is going to be up like $295 million for his max contract. That's a lot of freaking money. So now, since we were talking about the Heat before, now it's the best trade package for another team. So where do you see him fitting? What team would have the best package, you would think?
I think it would be Brooklyn, but Brooklyn is sticking to their guns that they don't want to trade Bridges, and I'm perfectly fine for that. I know, I guess a little plug here. Like Jory did her video. Well, she left like a comment under her TikTok where she said oh, send him to Atlanta and just tell him to go on somewhere. I wouldn't have thought of Atlanta. I don't think it's not going to work. But if I'm Portland and with Atlanta sometimes doing stupid moves, if I could convince Atlanta to give me a package centered around DeJounte Murray, I would do that for Portland. Because if you got Scoot Henderson, you got DeJounte Murray in your backcourt, that's not bad. I think Lillard and Trae Young together would be hilarious to see. The two of them, ball dominant guys who, like to shoot deep threes. I think Atlanta crowds might go crazy some nights, but I don't know. Like if I'm Portland, I'm calling teams that have a lot of young talent and try to get some of them, whether it's like in Oklahoma or Brooklyn. I'm not gonna throw Atlanta in there if Atlanta is serious about possibly moving DeJounte Murray. Those are the teams I'd be calling. I don't need to call Miami or I think Boston recently kind of said that they're out on the Dame sweepstakes. I guess because of the agent talking about if you trade for him, he's not gonna be happy. And why would you want that around your team? I think it's kind of limited where they can send him, to be honest with you. But if I'm Portland, I'm calling Brooklyn and Atlanta probably. You're muted, Jordan.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I would say either Brooklyn or the Knicks, but then now they have DiVincenzo and Brunson and Josh Hart. But I think that Dame kind of, is not. What do you say? Dame's upgrade over Brunson, or you think Brunson is?
I'd take Brunson. I think Dame. Look, by the end of this, I'm gonna be labeled a Dame hater, but Dame is one of those guys. I view him like Carmelo Anthony, really good offensive player, has a very low ceiling in terms of how deep your team's going to go into a playoff with them as your number one option. A lot of people have been like, oh, Portland's done this, hasn't done this for Dame. They haven't done that for Dame. Unfortunately, whatever they would do to surround Dame with talent, with Dame being the number one guy, there was only so far they were going to go. Dame has to go somewhere where he's either like a 1A, 1B type of situation, or I don't know if his ego could take that, him being like the number two to a clear-cut number one guy. Because even in Miami, you're kind of looking at a 1A, 1B type of thing, and I guess that could work there. But I just don't think Dame affects winning that way, which is why I don't have him as a superstar in this league. I think he's like a star. But to me, if you're a superstar, you got to be able to take a team to a conference final and a finals. I don't think Dame can do that.
So you don't think that Dame could be a player on like a winning? I'm pretty sure he wants to go to a contender. But do you think that not Brooklyn? Do you think Portland now has a leverage over Dame? Because like now, last week it was okay. Dame wants to go to Miami. It was like, oh, that's his set destination. Mm-hmm. So now, do you think that Portland has a leverage now since they want to get more assets for Dame? So
Portland's always had the leverage because, yeah, Dame wants to go to Miami, but if you want to take on the risk of bringing in Dame and he doesn't want to be there, that's not my problem. If I'm Portland, you give us what we want. You figure out the Dame part of it. The minute he, gets on that plane leaving Portland, we don't care. So the leverage is it's been on Portland. It's just whether or not they want to just please Lillard, send him to Miami and take what you can get, or really do what you're supposed to do and get the best return for Portland. So they control how this story goes from here.
Do you see him going so you see him, so you said Brooklyn. I'm going to ask the next question. Do you see him on an Eastern Conference team or Western Conference team?
Because I think if I'm Portland, I'd rather just send him to the East.
East?
Yeah. Because if he's in the West somewhere, That's always going to be some type of storyline hanging over your head. It's going to be like, oh, you chose Scoot Henderson over Dame, and look what Dame's doing here. At least if he's in the East, you really don't have to worry about him, except for once during the season when he comes to Portland, and unless you see him in the finals.
A team that just like got brought up is, which I don't think will make sense. Maybe is the Spurs.
Spurs have a lot of young talent. If I'm Portland, that's probably a team I probably should have mentioned. If you could get, I don't know, like a Keldon Johnson. I don't know. They have a lot of young pieces there, which I guess would make sense.
Wembanyama, man, oh my gosh. I mean, that's not like that. I mean, Wembanyama, we don't know he has so untapped potential in the NBA. We don't know how he's gonna pan out, but I know like with him, with Dame and Pop, man, that would be something else, man. I thought about that, like a random team.
Sounds like a play-in team to me.
All right, well, exit off the list.
Yeah. But from Portland side, sure, I'd call San Antonio.
Well, yeah, for like a business aspect. Let's see what else. I mean,
my thing would be I just want to get young talent to come back that I can, pair with Scoot, have two of them for whatever number of years and have them grow together. I don't need to bring in some, grizzled vet. I don't care about that. Give me young talent picks. That's what I want.
Because it seems like Miami. I'm seeing reports saying it seems like Miami is like in it. They want to trade something, then they back out. Then they trade. They want to trade. They said they're not trading Cam Martin or Caleb Martin. I'm sorry, I keep on saying Cam. Caleb Martin. He's out. He's not getting any trade packages. They want to trade Tyler Hero. Portland don't want him. They back out. So it's like, damn, man, I'm sick and tired of this this back and forth. I know it's a business that takes time to find a team the right packages, but
Dame needs to stay quiet in all this. Him, his agent, I don't need to hear from them.
I'm trying to see if there's any news about any sleeper teams.
I don't. They kind of backed themselves in the corner. I don't know where else you can send them. The fact that Miami won't part with Caleb Martin, that's a deal breaker. Because you can't tell me you're just sending Hero, some second round picks, and Duncan Robinson. I'm supposed to be okay with that. Okay, so I think what needs to happen is it has to be more than two teams now.
Yeah,
now I'm thinking about it. It's got to be it
has to be a 3-team trade.
Yeah, that's the only way it's going to get done. Which those are always tricky.
So I'm looking at an article from ESPN from credit from Adrian Wojnarowski, who wrote the article. The article is headlined inside the Trailblazers Damian Lillard trade talks. What's the hold up? So the Lillard. So the thing is Damian's age and massive contract complicates his value, which will probably land somewhere between the Phoenix Suns who two blockbuster trades before and after the new collective bargaining agreement. A third package for Kevin Durant and a far lighter deal for Bradley Beal is a wide gulf of assets. Beal's $208 million contract and no trade clause were a unique factor. Miami can offer a maximum of 2 first-round picks, 2020 and 2020, 5 years of first-round pick swaps, 2022 first-round Nikola Jokic, or I'm sorry, Nikola Jovic, the rookie from Portland doesn't want guard Tyler Hero and the 4 years and $120 million on his contract extension, but there are
I forgot all about Hero's contract.
Yes, that's another part. The wake of the past trade requests those from Durant last season for Anthony Davis in 2019, there are differences born out of Lillard's determination to get a trade to Miami. The Lakers and Suns got high draft picks and repeated trips to the lottery and develop those assets into future All-Star players. Miami has missed the playoffs 3 times in the past 50 seasons, which has made it harder to harvest. Small market teams such as Utah can't acquire the likes of Lillard in free agency, but armed with draft picks. They said he probably doesn't fit with the Jazz, but he'll be somewhere sometime. Maybe it's the summer. Maybe it's the desperation of other teams. That's the other
team Portland should call.
Utah
has a lot of young pieces. But like the article said, so I'm Danny Ainge. I'm running Utah. We're basically in complete rebuild. What does bringing Damian Lillard do for me? Nothing.
So I think his name is. I think the only thing is Cronin. I think he's the GM. So like, even though Miami
is a tough
like
situation,
he's in a pickle, man. Because like he obviously wants to get rid of this drama of Dame Lillard, this whole mess. But then again, he wants assets. So if if Miami's not willing to bite on their side, then they gotta find, like you said, it might be a 3-team trade.
At that point, Miami needs to facilitate the third team. Because if I'm Portland, I don't need to get involved with that. Because I would assume it'd have to be Miami sending Tyler Hero somewhere else, since Portland doesn't want him. I don't know where Tyler Hero would fit.
Maybe LA Clippers.
Aren't the Clippers trying to get Harden? Which
that's another player I forgot on my topics. I don't want to. It's another top. That's another headache.
Being an LA fan, you show up to a game. It's Paul George, Kawhi, and Harden, all hurt.
Oh man, if I was a little kid, man, I'd be pissed, man, for my birthday gift. Knowing they're all hurt.
Yikes.
I don't see you say you don't want him on Boston, but I don't think
I just don't think it's possible.
Lillard is not. I wouldn't say he's a headache as a player. It's like right now he just wants out of Portland.
He's sure acting like one though, because he got his contract extension last year.
Yeah.
So in 1 year, all of a sudden, after you told people you're not ring chasing, you're not this, you're not that, you completely changed in 1 year. Now you just have to be out of Portland because you want to be on a contender. But I think Lillard also said he doesn't want to be on a super team, which I'm like, what does that even mean? Because if you go to Miami, I guess with you, Butler, and Bam, some would see that as a super team because most super teams are just teams that have a big three. That's a big three. I don't know. Lillard's just giving these mixed messages that I'm just done with. And I feel like if he and his agent stay quiet, I think Portland could probably find somewhere to send him. But it's like every time there's like a little break in NBA news, it's some new thing about Dame Lillard. That's just like, why do we need to hear this right now? So, look, if Portland wants to take on like Malcolm Brogdon, Peyton Pritchard, and some picks, because the Celtics have a crazy amount of picks to send you, then yeah, the Celtics, I guess, could be the third team in that. But then what are they going to get from that? Because I think Lillard's kind of said he doesn't want to be in Boston, and then he said he wouldn't be against being in Boston. So I couldn't deal with that all year, wondering if he's happy there, if he's not. I don't know. At this point, trade him to Detroit and whatever. Let Dame sit in Detroit and cry or whatever. I don't know. Send him to Taiwan. Just do something at this point.
Yeah. So the next topic I had, I think the Magic waived Bol Bol. What's up, Riz? My dog is
Bol Bol. Bol Bol's gotten more attention on Twitter in like the past 24 hours than I thought he'd ever would.
It's my girl, Rosie.
I'm listening to Celtics talking about, because the Celtics had him for like 2 minutes and then send him somewhere. Oh, should we bring back Bol Bol? There's a reason why Bol Bol's bouncing around. That's all I'll say.
I'm like, yeah, it's my dog Rosie. You want to say hi? You want to say something in the mic, Rosie? Do you like Damian Lillard? Nah, she's turned her head. I mean, I like Dame. I like Dame. Don't get me wrong, man. I like Dame, but it's just like this whole headache thing is like this whole fiasco of like, you love me not. Do you like Portland? Do you like me?
I think people like the idea of Dame. They like the name Dame.
He's a good player. I'm not gonna say he's a trash player. It's just like I'm tired of this offseason shenanigans. It was one time he was gonna be packed in the LA trade last offseason. Oh, he was like, I'm gonna stay in Portland. Because they're gonna trade, I think, AD for Lillard. But then again, he has that factor in his age too. His age, he's not getting any younger.
That's a good point. I wonder how well Dame's gonna age.
I'm surprised, like Dame want to like go to Golden State before like the Chris Paul move is like. But then again, I don't know how that will work.
My conspiracy theory is that's what the Draymond Green Lillard thing was all about. Trying to find a way to get him to Golden State. But if you're Portland, who would you take? Kuminga, maybe Gary Payton II. Some picks.
Yeah, the owner is not so Cronin. I feel like he's in the pickle because, like, obviously, there's how can I put this? There's no like. Like summer league about to start until like Friday in Vegas. You got training camp coming up.
Mm-hmm.
There's no rush right now. But I'm saying like midway through summer league into like training camp. You got to speed up the process, man, because obviously you want to know who your one guard are going to be. It might be I keep on butchering his name, Alfonso Simmons, or
Anthony Simons,
Yeah. He might be the guard.
He got dragged into this Lillard stuff too because it was like, just get rid of Simons, Simons, and it's just like. If I'm Portland, I don't want to do that.
Portland needs a center because Yusef Nurkic is not the center, man. He gets hurt. There was one year where he was kind of dominant for Portland. Outside of like LaMarcus Aldridge, he was dominant, but he got hurt. So Portland needs to focus on getting a center, man, a rim protector. They need, and
you can get away with it in the West though.
That's true, but they need but I don't think Yusef Nurkic is the answer at center right now because they need I also say maybe like a shooting big, maybe someone who can still dominate the boards. Because when I'm playing with Portland on 2K, right, and I don't know why the CPU has Nurkic going out for the 3, but he cannot shoot.
That's 2K.
Oh, speaking of 2K,
I've seen random stuff like that with 2K too, and I'm just like, I don't get what's going on.
Why do they have? I don't know. JaVale McGee going outside to the 3-point line. I don't know. I don't get it. But speaking of 2K, Kobe made the cover. Rest in peace to Kobe. He did make. It was a little surprise.
That's the obvious.
It was Ticket 24. Some people were like, "Oh." Of course, gonna have some people say, "Oh, have someone new." He was on there before. I'm like, bro, he died. Obviously, he's a good player. Let him.
75% of social media, people just want to be contrarian just to be contrarian. I guarantee that person doesn't actually feel that way.
And the same person
want to be the idiot in the room.
And the same person said that they're gonna buy the damn game. At the end of the day, when it's all said and done. Hey, listen, I don't really like Josh Allen. I do, but he's on Buffalo. I'm going to buy the game, right? So, I like Josh Allen. I just don't, I feel like, he's an elite quarterback. I'm also will get to the quarterback list in a couple minutes, but obviously he was supposed to be a cover last year, but, John Madden, that whole the way he passed
I wonder if that guy had a problem with Madden being on the cover of his own game last year when he died. He's like, oh my God, put an actual player on the cover.
Or put in a Belichick.
Belichick would never do it because he's not even in the game. Which is hilarious to me.
I don't get that.
It's the same.
I know.
I assume it's like Barkley. Barkley's not in NBA games because he just doesn't want to.
But it's not like you're. I don't get it. It's not like you're actually in the game. I obviously get like the motion sensor face scan, but it's not like you're actually in the. It's not like I don't know.
He doesn't want to deal with that.
But then there's more money in your pocket, man. Like I don't get it.
Belichick ain't worried about money. He got enough.
I know he's a low profile dude.
Yeah,
but I get that.
Also, speaking of money, have you heard about the college football game?
Yeah, the whole fiasco with the lawsuit.
The Players Association telling. Once again, I didn't even know college football had a players association, but I guess it makes sense with an NIL.
Yeah, with the NIL.
But he's like telling the players, "Oh, don't sign up to be in the game because they're not paying enough." Which I'm like, come on, man. It's it's college kids, and if I'm like the fourth center at Alabama, I may not play a lot, but if I'm in the game, I make myself the starter and play like that. Why wouldn't I want to be in the game?
Right.
And top tier talent, they're not going to care how much they get paid because they're just going to make their money in the NFL anyway. I think the college game is more about, you're sitting in your dorm and you can play as yourself in a video game. It's kind of cool as a college kid. That's what I think matters. But the Players Association trying to act like they're doing something, whatever.
So is there going to be
need real players for college football? I remember college football games where it used to be just like quarterback number 9, and people didn't care.
I don't. Yeah. Wait. So is there gonna be a halt on the release date, or I know it can be like 2024?
No. EA said we'll release it when we said. If you want to be in the game, you'll be in the game. If not,
they said that already.
Yeah, they're like, if you're not in the game, we'll just do a name generated character or something. We're going to keep it moving because they know how big the game's going to be. They're not going to delay it now. They're too far into the process.
All right. So next topic, was I think we had a couple more topics on the NBA. I think it was Bol Bol. He got waived off for the Magic. I know. Obviously, I'm gonna get Jordan. You always want to play every player on, but there was a report saying that Bol Bol. Well, Lakers are interested in 2 centers. They're interested in Bol Bol and Christian Woods. I heard he's in the mix. So.
I'd go for Christian Wood if I'm the Lakers. Bol Bol is a lot of hype. That's all I'll say. A lot of hype. Christian Wood. That's where the Lakers should go. That's what I'll say.
Where do you see him going?
Bol Bol?
Yeah, or I mean, he's not really a bad player. Obviously he's skilled. He can dribble the ball. He can, take it down the court. But
okay. I feel like defensively, Bol Bol is I mean, look, Bol Bol's going to be somewhere. If I had to pick a spot, I kind of thought Orlando was going to be that place where, no expectations. They're just a bunch of young guys out there playing. He'd actually play well. Didn't happen there. So now it's like, where do you go? He was once in Denver. Didn't work there. Like I said, he was with the Celtics for like 2 seconds. Didn't work there. Although they didn't really have a spot for him. So if I'm Bol Bol, where would I go? Maybe like a Charlotte. I'm trying to think who would be in front of him at Charlotte. Because they've extended qualifying offers to like Bridges and PJ Washington. There's no guarantee that they get both those guys. I'll say Charlotte is where Bol Bol ends up.
You said Charlotte?
Yep. That's my prediction.
Have you seen Brandon Miller play, man? Oh my God, he's getting bodied around and he had 7 fouls. Like the team that said he's been lackadaisical.
I feel like that's just some of the concerns coming into the draft was about desire at this point.
Yeah, because he was like, I saw clips on like ESPN. He was like getting screened. He was like falling to screen. Like, he wasn't like going around the screen. He was getting bodied. He was getting dunked on. He had like 7 fouls, like 18 points and 7 fouls. Well, what's the foul? Well, you get like 10 fouls, I think, or like in summer league.
Summer league, yeah, I think you get like 10. Which, if you're fouling out with 10 fouls, we got bigger problems.
I think one player did get 10 fouls, I think, or something like
yeah. Every summer league, there's like a guy or two who will foul out, and it's just like, bro, you were just hacking all day.
The Cliff, I mean, I know it's summer league, but he's getting bodied by rookies, man. Like, imagine when the season starts, he's getting bodied by like grown men. Well, obviously they are grown men in the summer league, but like veterans, So, I mean, the Cliff I saw, he was getting pushed around. I think it was like last night. I think they played the Warriors.
I think so.
Yeah, the play that I saw, he was like confused, like didn't know where he was supposed to go. Like a daisical, slow, not getting rebounds. But then he started lighting it up in like the second half. But
great!
I mean, honestly, he's
now.
But yeah, I mean, obviously he's still young, he's a rookie, but from what I've seen, I don't know. Like even they said that he kind of looking lackadaisical, lazy on defense. So obviously they're going to work on that. So is Jordan still going to be? Is he still going to be the owner of that team?
No, he's just a minority owner now. He sold his majority for like $3 billion. Yeah, let's cry for Michael Jordan. I mean, it just showed the kind of businessman that he is. He bought that majority stake for like 100 and something million, I think, and spun it for $3 billion. Pretty good return on investment. Yeah, he said he'll just be a minority guy. He'll be like involved with the team, just not as the majority owner anymore. And Brandon Miller too, like was telling stuff about Jordan in practice. I saw some interview with him. He was like, yeah, Jordan was like trash talking me, and he like airballed a free throw or something like that. And I was just like, do you not know who Michael Jordan is? Even as old as he is right now, he is still as competitive as ever. So I wouldn't be surprised if we don't hear some stories during the season of like him and Jordan playing one-on-one or something like that.
Oh man, that'd be something else. So the last question. So just to be clear, for the NFL, are we doing like all? Well, I mean, I did all 32 teams. Like, are we doing? Okay, I just want to make sure.
Yep.
Because we can just save those two lists for just the last thing. But then I have one more topic for the NBA, which is a pretty good question. I mean, speaking of Brandon Miller, the rookies, who do you think is gonna have the bigger? Well, I guess I mean, I didn't add Chet in there because Chet is this a rookie
He's
year,
a
right?
Rookie. Yep.
I didn't even put Chet, but I should put Chet. I mean, but so I put so who has the brighter upside or the higher ceiling? I was a rookie wise. I put Scoot, Wembanyama, Brandon Miller, and I guess you could say Chet. Or I mean, there's so many rookies like the twin brothers too. I didn't put those in there. Those two brothers, the twins. But I had those. Well, I can add Chet, but out of those main rookies, who do you think is going to have the higher ceiling?
That's interesting. So if I'm looking at it so I think Rookie of the Year next year is basically going to come down to Chet, Wemby, and Scoot, I would say.
I could say those twins can move up too, man. Like either one of those, they were like picked like 4 and 5 or 5 and 6.
Yeah, I think it'll be tough for them to get into the conversation.
Well, I think one of them might. I mean, I'm probably gonna say, well, what candidates are there? 5, 6 candidates, I think.
Yeah, it's probably like a ballot of 5. But I think it's really going to be like the top 3, and then 4 and 5 will just be kind of how you fill out the ballot.
Yeah.
I would probably order it. I think Chet wins Rookie of the Year next year, which, with all the hype with Wemby, might be tough, but I think Wemby comes second and Scoot is third.
I'm gonna go Victor. Victor, winner of the Rookie of the Year, and I think I'm gonna go Chet second, and I'm gonna go Scoot third.
I can see that,
but I mean, I can see a Scoot. I know he's in Portland, but I mean, I can see Scoot or 1 or 2 too, depending on how he plays. But I definitely see the Victor being 1 and Chet being 2, or flip flop being 1. And depending on how the season goes, I can definitely switch my list. But I do have Victor 1, Chet 2, Scoot 3, Brendan 4. Then I'm gonna put one of the Asar, one of the Ahmad brothers in there too.
That's what I think. One Thompson's in Houston, the other one is in.
Oh yeah, Thompson. I'm sorry, the Thompson brothers. Yeah.
Is the other one in Detroit? No. Where'd the other Thompson go? I know. I think it's Amin Thompson's in Houston. I know that.
Amin Thompson.
I can't. Houston. Yeah. Where'd the other brother go?
I don't know.
For some reason, I'm saying Detroit, but I feel like that's wrong. It is Detroit. Okay. That's interesting. Him, Cunningham, Ivy. I don't know if he'll have enough of an opportunity.
But definitely see what the other brother on Houston with him and Jabari Smith. Jalen Green, whatever. Jalen Green, but
that whole thing. I'm glad you brought his name up. Look.
Yeah, we need a coach back in here, man. We need to have coach give him a call, man.
But my thing is like this.
He's your boy, man.
All of these, people who are sitting there like, oh my God, you got to send him off the team. I don't think that should be your reason to send him off. Now, if his play on the court is trash, then you get rid of him. Like, if that's what he's doing within the walls of his house, that's his prerogative. Which, I don't remember
like,
people
if you
playing
were
like that in high school. But
if you were, me neither, man, me neither. I mean, obviously, some locker room talk here and there. You know what I'm saying? Like, keep it between the locker rooms. But
that's some wild stuff that was going on
and I think Christian something was in that video too, but he was just laying there by the wall, not saying nothing. I forget his last name, Christian something, but he's on the Rockets too.
I know what you're talking about. And then he got traded this offseason.
I think so.
Which, sure. Is it Josh Christopher, I think? Something like that.
I think it was. Something like that. But
it's like all these people who were watching it were just like, oh my God, you got to get rid of him. I don't need to get rid of him for that.
But if you were, think about it, but I mean, obviously you're a NBA fan, but if you were the front office and you saw a video, like, what would you? I mean, obviously you would sit there and like have a conversation with Jalen Green, like, oh, what is this, man? Like,
but even could you technically do that? Because it seemed like the people who were commenting on it just had this thing about, oh, that act was, this lifestyle that I feel like shouldn't be.
I don't even want to like say what it was about.
No, I'm just saying. It's just
I know.
But that's what they were talking about. It's just like
we were talking about like kind of like it's weird. It's funny like beating around the bush of like the whole like kind of to talk about like kind of weaving around.
I don't want to like spin it some type of way where somebody might be like, oh my God, listen to this guy. Look, to me, it's just like, even if that's the lifestyle he's living, what's the problem?
That was. I mean, I wish Joy was here because she would be grilling him, man. Like,
I mean, it's a weird tape to have just randomly floating out there all of a sudden. Which, if this was like high school or something, how did it take this long for it to come out of the woodwork?
I feel like it's like the Drake. Well, obviously Draymond Green, Jordan Poole is different, but like I feel like if where it compares, it's like if that video wasn't posted, then we wouldn't be talking about this right now. But since they posted it, I mean it's out there, and I saw it, I was like, what the hell is going on? Like, what is going on? Like, and the fact that he was like making noises too, like it's weird, man.
But I'm just like, if that's the life he's trying to live, then what's the problem? Because then it's like, now it's that, and then there was the picture that's been associated with it, with like him wearing something and like a pink, I don't know, it was like a bag or something.
Oh,
Which
I
I'm just like,
that.
yeah, that was like I was somewhere and like that was the very next image, and they were like, oh, it makes sense now, and I'm just like, okay. When it comes to NBA, it should be about whether or not you can
You can
play on
play.
the court or not. Like
Yeah.
if
I
he's
mean,
not
Russell. I
performing on the
mean,
court,
people.
then Houston can get rid of him. But just
Yeah.
because this tape comes out,
I mean, I don't see a
and
problem with like the. I mean, I see a problem with the video. It's disgusting. Like, but I mean, I see where you're coming from. Like, where it's like that shouldn't really dictate how you play.
yeah,
But obviously, I want to have a conversation with him. Like, yo, what's going on, man? Like, like
I mean, at that point, I think you're getting into like
maybe
Remember the Titans type of territory. If you
maybe that's
remember
why.
that
Maybe that's
movie,
why. Well, maybe that's why they added Dylan Brooks, some veterans, man, to get him in that locker room, man. So.
I mean, they added Dylan Brooks because they had to spend some money and they had to
So is
spend on.
so is Green gonna start? Cause it's Dylan Brooks, Fred Van Fleet. Is he gonna call off the bench, John Green? Because now he
I
had he
mean,
had that starter role now, like last year.
you could technically start Van Vliet at the 1, Green at the 2,
But then
Brooks at the
don't they
3.
have who's that dude they used to play for the Cavs? Had the little hair, the hair string. He used to play for the Cavs. He had the afro, but was it Kevin Porter Jr.?
Yeah, he's still
Was
there.
it Kevin Porter? I think his name was Kevin Porter. Yeah.
I think he's a bench guy at this point. I think he'll back up Van Vliet and Green.
Well, I think he's a small forward or shooting guard.
I think he's kind of interchangeable. Well, okay, so I guess he'll back up like Green and Brooks at the 2 and 3.
Yeah.
But if you're bringing in Brooks on that kind of money, yeah, he has to start. So I would go Van Vliet, Green, Brooks.
I don't know who your center is.
I guess Sengun, or if you want to, I don't know if I want to put Jabari Smith there. Maybe small ball. You could put Smith
I forgot
there.
about Jabari Smith. Yeah.
I think Jabari Smith's more of a 4. So maybe go Smith and then Sengun at your 5. Then, like, if you bring in Porter Jr., move Jabari to the 5 and go with a small ball lineup like that. Maybe against certain teams that can work. I don't know. They'll figure out the rotation because they got rid of, some of the young guys that were kind of sitting behind, Green and those guys. Some of the other veterans like Jeff Green, you don't have to play him too much, so you don't really worry about his role on the team. It'll be interesting. Houston, like, if it all works out, Houston could be a decent team next year. They could be a 7-8 type of seed. Be in the play-in, win a game, get in. I wouldn't be surprised if Houston was that type of team next year.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll definitely see. I mean, how does rookies pan out?
Mm-hmm.
But I guess the list is before we get into NFL, I do want to advertise that I am hosting I'm not, I guess I'm hosting, but I'm trying to gather some people to for a fantasy football league. I'm excited to see how many people want. If Kyle, you want to join in on the fantasy football league, it's going to be a buy-in league. I'm trying to decide how many people I'm going to have, so I can determine the price range of the buy-in. I'm thinking about 25 to 50, like in that range of buying money.
What are you running on ESPN?
So last year I did it on Sleeper. It's called Sleeper.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. I forget all about Sleeper.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty. I mean, I like it better than
I've never done one on there, so I might have to try one there.
Yeah,
because most of mine I've been like old school, like ESPN or Yahoo Sports or something.
Yeah, before that I was on ESPN, but my friends we had like an in-person draft and we had Sleeper, and I liked it. Smooth. You can get like NFL. I mean, other than all the other apps, you can get like NFL news and like other reports. I think that's what Dylan has. Sleeper.
Yeah, because when you brought that up, I remember. I think college basketball. The bracket I think we did was through Sleeper, and I was just like, okay.
Yeah, I like that. So I'm deciding, what the price range is going to be for buy-in. I have like 7 or 8 people, one with a question mark. So let me know if you're watching, if you want to hop in. I'm probably gonna create like a group chat once we all get like a set amount of people. So yeah, let me know if y'all want to hop in. I'll probably be on Sleeper, the app. But yeah, I don't want to say this, but I will start one unless y'all don't touch Lamar Jackson, Mark Andrews, Zay Flowers, or Odell Beckham, and Ravens defense. If you touch any
if
of
I'm
those,
in the league, you ain't got to worry about that.
No, Dylan kind of made fun of me on the chat and he on the Facebook. He was like, "Oh, like you're probably gonna pick Lamar, Zay Flowers, OBJ."
Yeah.
But for the past few years, I have had Andrews, Lamar, Ravens defense. Ravens defense, I think that one game against Miami kind of lost me that week because like that they fell off, that defense in the second half. But I felt pretty solid. Other than Lamar getting hurt against the Broncos last year, I had to put in a backup. But other than that, I did pretty good. I think one year I had Devontae Parker when he was on Miami, and I think I was one of those games where he was supposed to have like 11 points projected. I mean, and I think they played the Raiders that game. And like he didn't get no targets, so I kind of lost. But it's definitely competitive. So definitely, if y'all are interested, let me know. I kind of have let me know on Instagram. My main account at JJL_XO. DM me. Let me know if you're interested. I have a list going on. And yeah, we'll get that going. Because we want to have the people in there by like what, maybe like the second, third preseason game. I think at least by like that time. So. I'm still have some time to decide. I'm still deciding, what the rules are, like PPR. I'm deciding if I should have like a first place winner. Obviously, he gets the bigger pot, and then like a second place, third place, and that's it. So definitely once we get a group, I'm gonna decide that. So PPR, that's just like points per
reception.
So that's just strictly points.
Yeah, because
So that means like like first.
So basically,
like
if you have a wide receiver, you really only get points if they catch a touchdown pass. So at least with PPR, you get points for every reception that they have.
Okay, so that's the better.
And running backs as well. If they catch a pass out of the backfield, you can get a point for that. Without it, some positions it's kind of tough for them to score.
Yeah, so I'm definitely gonna do PPR. PPR is definitely that's like everything: receptions, touchdowns.
Yeah, you get the normal touchdowns and stuff, but now each catch gets you a point. Where without it, you have to get like a catch and a certain amount of yards in order to get a point. But now you can get the catch and yards as well.
Yeah. So definitely like let me know if y'all are interested. DM me on Instagram. I'm looking for people that are interested. So please let me know if you're seriously interested. Then again, like I said, I'm deciding to buy in amount. It is going to be a paid league, so obviously whoever gets the winning pot or first place, they do get the bigger winnings. But definitely, if you're coming second, third, I'll cut it at the first place, second place, third place. So that's that. So that segment leading into the NFL. This the only time we're gonna do is me and Kyle are gonna have our list of QBs. So each week we're gonna have our from leading on. So next week we're gonna have running backs, or we can talk about receivers. We're gonna do like flip flop. So we're gonna have the top positions. Quarterback, running back, wide receiver. So you want to go first with your list, or you want me to go first?
I can go first.
All right.
I'm not afraid to show you the correct list. To be honest with you, I was literally like 5 minutes before we came on here still trying to decide how I wanted to put this. So for me, my top 5, I've got Mahomes, Burrow, Hurts, Lawrence, Herbert. I got Jackson 6th, although I think between Lawrence, Herbert, Jackson, I think kind of interchangeable there. I've got Allen at 7, only because of him kind of backsliding recent years without Dable. He definitely has to show me something this year. I got Rodgers behind him at 8. I got Watson at 9 and Fields to round out my top 10. I think Fields takes a big jump this year into the top 10 quarterback list because, they got him some wide receivers there, DJ Moore, which I think will help him out. I think the offensive line should be improved this year. So I think you'll really see the best of Fields starting this year. Watson, maybe I'm more of a Watson guy than most, but I think you'll start to see more of the Houston Texans Watson this season, and you'll realize how talented he is. Then right outside of those, in top 10, I think Cousins, who's a guy who, look, a lot of people make jokes about him, but if you look at his numbers, he's actually a really good quarterback. It's just the prime time, the playoffs, although last playoff, even though they lost, he actually had a good game. So I guess I give him some credit for that. I got Dak after Cousins. Dak was probably one of the people I had the hardest time really placing him because I think in that Cowboys offense, he's not asked to do a lot. His main thing is just protect the ball. He didn't do that well last year. I think he'll be better this year. And, Dallas will have like a standard, 10, 11 win season. We already know. Russell Wilson was another guy I struggled with where to put him. I put him, between Dak Prescott and Matt Stafford. Matt Stafford has the injury concerns, plus that Rams team. I think the talent is definitely lesser this year than it was the Super Bowl year, obviously. And I think the Rams might struggle a little bit this year, which I think will affect Stafford's numbers. So I got him down. It was at 12, 14. Yeah, Stafford at 14. I've got Tua 15. Look, Tua, until he started getting hurt, was having a pretty good season. But I just couldn't see justifying Tua over the guys I have in front of him. I mean, I guess last year maybe Fields might have been behind Tua, but like I said, I think Fields takes a big jump this year. I got Mac at 16 because I think Mac is like a middle-of-the-road quarterback, although I think Mac will have a much better season this year than last year because of Bill O'Brien running the offense and not Matt Patricia. I guess there's still the chance they could get DeAndre Hopkins, but even if they don't, I'm okay with a wide receiver group of Devontae Parker, Juju, Kendrick Bourne, Tyquan Thornton with your tight ends, Hunter Henry, Gesicki. That's a pretty good offensive group. And Ramondre Stevenson is an up-and-coming running back in this league, so I think Mac Jones will have a better year. Goff had a really good year last year, but I want to see if he can duplicate that this year. I also think there's a good chance that Hendon Hooker might push him at some point this year for the starting job. I've got Geno Smith at 18. Geno Smith had a resurgent year last year, but grand scheme of things, he's kind of like that middle tier type of quarterback. Let me see what other names I want to focus on. So I got Derek Carr, Daniel Jones, which I guess if Freddie was watching, he'd probably say way too low, but let's be honest here. Between probably Tua and like Ryan Tannehill, who I have right after Daniel Jones, if you wanted to order that any different way, you would get no arguments from me. Because even Tannehill, I feel like I probably could move him a little higher on the list. I think of Tannehill, it's like Carr, Daniel Jones, and Tannehill. I was trying to figure out where to put those three. I think ultimately I just went Tannehill last of those three. And that's probably because Carr has like Chris Olave. He has Michael Thomas, whether or not Thomas actually stays on the field. So I think he's got good weapons there. Daniel Jones, I mean, the Giants, he's got Saquon Barkley technically until Barkley doesn't sign the franchise tag and forces his way out of town or something. I don't know. But Tannehill, his success is going to be probably on Derrick Henry, because Derrick Henry's still going to be the focal point of that offense. So I put Tannehill's last of those three. And then now we get kind of into some of the young guys around the league. You know, I think Bryce Young will probably have the best season out of the new crop. I think Pickett's going to have a better year this year because it's a second year, more acclimated. Well, I'll have Howell and Brissett because I guess Washington technically hasn't named their starter. I'm assuming it's Howell. I think Howell's going to get a bump from Eric Bieniemy. And he has, you know, Terry McLaurin. He's got some pieces there, Jordan Reed. But we'll have to see how Howell holds up this year. Garoppolo, he's got the injury concerns, so I kind of just threw him in there. Purdy and Lance. I think San Francisco would want Trey Lance to take the starting job. It's just you can't depend on him because of the injuries. Purdy got hurt in the playoffs last year. Don't know what he's going to look like to start the season. Got Baker Mayfield and Kyle Trask. I think Mayfield's going to perform better than I think some are trying to report. But I guess I couldn't justify putting him any higher. Maybe I could have put him ahead of maybe Howell that high. But I think he's still kind of in this range. CJ Stroud, Anthony Richardson are the other two young quarterbacks. I think there's definitely an opportunity for those two to move up on this list for sure. You know, Richardson gives you the athletic aspect. I want to see how he can throw in the NFL. I think that's going to be the biggest concern with him. And then for Stroud, you know, the questions there could be the pieces around him. And how much is DeMeco Ryans going to really want him to take on in his first season? You know, they have a good young running back there. I think they'll be run heavy. Hope their defense improves. So I don't think Stroud's going to have a big year necessarily next year. But I think going forward, Stroud will be fine. Then the last three, you got Jordan Love because you don't know what you're really getting there. The times we saw him in spot duty for Aaron Rodgers, didn't love what I saw, but I wouldn't say he's the worst quarterback because, you know, Desmond Ridder, he's just going to be managing for Atlanta. Atlanta has some talent around him. I just don't think if Atlanta wins that division or anything, I don't think Desmond Ridder is going to be the big reason why. I feel like it would be, you know, Bijan Robinson had a good season as a rookie running back, or, you know, a lot of short passes to London, Pitts, and those guys making plays after the catch. And then Colt McCoy I have as the worst quarterback because since McCoy's going to start the season, I went with him. You know, if it was Kyler Murray, maybe it's a little bit higher, but I got Colt McCoy as the worst starting quarterback in the NFL to start the season.
Is that your list? That's your your complete list? Yep. I'm looking at my list. I don't think I added Jordan Love to my list, but there's 32 teams in my.
Then you must have a backup somewhere in your 32.
Well, the only backup I have is Colt McCoy because Kyler Murray is not going to be playing, but I have him at 28. But I don't.
Yeah, but if Love's not on you and you have 32.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That's so weird. I have every.
Then either you have somebody on there twice, or you have two quarterbacks from the same team. I'm trying to think who.
All right, so I'm just gonna lay on my list. I mean, I'm gonna show it.
Do you have like Tannehill and Levis on your list?
I have Tannehill, but is he a starter?
Tannehill, yeah, I think Tannehill's gonna be a starter week 1.
I do have Levis. Because I rounded out my list of rookies.
Then that's why. Because if you have Tannehill and Levis on your list and you got to 32, then you left somebody off, and apparently it was Jordan Love. And that's why, like, situations like that.
I don't want to put Love like at 32 because I don't think it's gonna be that bad.
Right. That's why situations like that, I would have probably gone like Tannehill / Levis and kind of just put them together somewhere.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that right now.
That's what I did with like Purdy and Lance, Mayfield, Trask, even though I feel like Mayfield's gonna be the starter there, but you know.
Oh wait.
Although I didn't do Tannehill / Levis, which I probably should have, because maybe later in the season you see him. I don't know.
It's gonna mess up my list, man. Oh man. I forgot
Maybe I'm lucky. Maybe I'm lucky that Jory isn't tuning in. She might say I have Tannehill too low. What's going on? I don't know how to pronounce that last name. I'm not going to even. Aiken? Hopefully I pronounced your first name right. I mean, he got a message for you. Said Big J.
Oh, so, Big J. Oh, that's a Keen. Oh,
Keen. Okay.
A Keen Louis, man.
Okay. That's probably how I would have pronounced the last name, but if I wasn't 100% confident, I didn't want to butcher the name like that.
I gotta fix my thing, Ron.
So I guess while you're doing that, like I said,
see, I was
certain names on here was like easy for me, but there was a few names I was just like, I don't know where to put you. Like some might think I have Dak too low. Some could say Dak might be high. I don't know.
I forgot what a Kings team was, man.
I know you're
a football fan, man. That's my boy from high school, man. Like from Maryland.
Okay.
I forgot.
He's a football fan. Then I mean, he could rate my list that's on the screen.
Yeah, that's his list.
Yeah, that's my quarterback list for just two.
I think the Kings are Baltimore Ravens fan. I don't know. I could be wrong.
Oh, let's hope not.
What? Yeah, I gotta fix my shit.
It would be kind of fun if he was a Bengals fan. That would be kind of fun.
So I kind of had like the top like 29 through 32.
So he said, "No." I'm assuming. He's a Niners fan. Okay. So he may not. I mean, he might not like where I have Purdy and Lance.
So I'm assuming Mahomes 1, Burrows 2, Hurts 3, 4.
Yeah, so the left side is 1 through 16, and then the right side would be 17 through 32.
Would you admit it on like Google or like why? I mean, make it on Word.
I use Pages for this.
Oh, okay.
I use Pages, inserted a table, and just put them in.
I was gonna fix my list real quick because the way I have my list set out, I have like after 28, I have like all the rookies, but now I gotta freaking decide who's gonna be 32 because I have Will Levis at 32.
Well, I'm assuming if you're just throwing in Love, you'll put him somewhere, and everybody will just move down a spot.
I put
whoever your 31 becomes the new 32.
So I put Jordan Love at 26. I know that's too low, but then I'm trying to figure out what team
If you put him at 26 and you can justify that he's better than who you have at 27, then
with 27 I have now I have Desmond Ridder at 27.
Okay, so in your mind, is Jordan Love better than Desmond Ridder? Then if so, that justifies you putting him at 26.
I think they're both equal. I mean, I think obviously, I think Ridder has the better weapon than Cordell Patterson. But then again, I mean, Jordan Love still has Watson, Aaron Jones.
Yeah, he's got Christian Watson, who only because Aaron Rodgers was, petty after week 1 with the drop, probably hindered how many catches he could have.
KC, Cincinnati, Philadelphia Eagles. I got Buffalo Bills, Chargers, Ravens, Jacksonville, Minnesota, New York Jets, Dallas Cowboys, Dolphins, Browns, Saints, Los Angeles Rams, Detroit Lions, Seahawks, New York Giants, Buccaneers, Chicago Bears, New England Patriots, the Titans, Denver, Pittsburgh. I got Jimmy G with the 49ers. I'm sorry, with Las Vegas. I had Brock Purdy in San Fran, Jordan Love, Green Bay, Devin Ritter, Atlanta, Cole McCoy, Arizona, Bryce Young, Carolina. I'm just trying to see what team I'm missing at 32.
If you put your list up, I could probably tell in a couple of seconds who you're missing.
How do I? Well, I had mine in my notes, like in my thingy. Like, how do I like share? Because this is updated. Let me see if it's updated. Yeah, all right, it's updated. Wait, what do I? Do I hit the share? But do I hit like share window or entire screen?
So you have it on
like my
use the notes app.
Yeah, let me.
That's what you did use. Yeah, I think you could just share the window.
All right, let me see if I can pull it up. Oh, cool. Okay. So let me know if you can see this.
I still see mine. Okay. Yep. Well, your header, like NBA free agency predictions, is blocking the bottom of your list.
Oh, let me pull that off.
Okay, so let's see. Whose team are you missing?
Damn, sometimes I hate this app, man. This melon app, man.
Well, I'm assuming the free agency thing is a header or something. Yeah, just go into text and then just remove it.
Yeah, I'm gonna hide it. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so I can pull it up. All right, so for number 1, I had Patrick Mahomes. Cincinnati, I got. Well, I see your face, man. What's going on?
No, I'm trying to see who you're missing.
I was like, oh shit. All right, so Patrick Mahomes, I got number 1. Joe Burrow had number 2. Jalen Hurts I had number 3. Josh Allen I had number 4. Hurts I have. I think it's doing Lawrence at 5 and then Lamar at 6, but I have Hurts. I might have to change that after the show. Put Lawrence at 5 and Lamar at 6, and then Herbert at probably 7. So scratch the Justin Herbert. Like, I'm just kind of gonna do it like so. Lamar, I have him at 6. Trevor is gonna be in that 5th spot, and then I'm gonna have Herbert behind Lamar at. I have him at 7.
I know who you're missing. Oh no, shoot! I thought you were missing somebody. No, I see him on the list. Okay, this is weird.
Missing. So Kirk Cousins I have at number 8. Aaron I have at number 9. 10 I have him at number 10. 11 I have Tua, barring any injury. Deshaun Watson, with the Cleveland Browns. Derek Carr, New Orleans Saints. Matt Stafford I have at number 14 with the Rams. Jared Goff, Detroit Lions. Geno Smith I have him at 16 with the Seattle Seahawks. Daniel Jones, I have him at with the Giants at number 17. At 18, I have Baker Mayfield with Tampa Bay. Justin Fields, I have 19, which he can definitely move up on my list. with the new pieces he has. Mac Jones and New England number 20. So right at the top 20, and then after that I have Ryan Tannehill, Will Levis at number 21. Russell Wilson, he could definitely move up with Sean Payton in town. I don't see him having a dramatic up climb, but from last year. But obviously Sean Payton's there. We're still with Jerry Jeudy and Sutton. Kenny Pickett I have at 23. Jimmy Garoppolo will have number 24. Brock Purdy I think Brock Purdy / Lance at 25. Jordan Love, which I added 26 for Green Bay. Rader I have right behind him at Atlanta. I might have to put him up to 26 because he has a better, I guess, core. But he did. Love has Christian Watson and Aaron Jones there still. Colt McCoy. See, I had Kyler Murray. I switched them because I don't know when Kyler Murray's coming back. So if Colt McCoy's probably gonna be there, so I have him at number 28. Then I rounded out the league or the list with I'm missing the Texans, man.
No, you got CJ Stroud.
I do?
Yeah, 30.
Oh yeah. Bryce Young, Carolina Panthers, CJ Stroud number 30, and Anthony Richardson number 31. 32, I'm teamless, man. Trying to see who I'm missing.
Okay, it might be easier to figure out if it's an NFC or AFC team. So it should be 16 of each. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
I feel like I have everyone.
I think you're missing an AFC team. I think.
This is so weird, man. Sorry, fans. Damn. How am I missing a team, man?
I mean, it can happen when you're moving names around and all that.
So I have Titans. I have Chargers. Oh, no, they're not. Well, Chargers are in the AFC, right? So, yeah, AFC. So I got Chargers. I have Denver. I have KC, Raiders, Baltimore, Bengals, Browns, Steelers, Pickett.
Yeah, you got Pickett, Lamar, Burrow. Cleveland, you have Watson.
Deshaun Watson, yeah.
And then you have Mac Jones. You got Josh Allen, Tua,
Richardson,
and Aaron Rodgers. So you have all the AFC. That means you're missing an NFC quarterback. Okay, so that kind of makes it easier for me. So NFC East, you have Hurts on here. You got Prescott from Dallas. And I know who you're missing. Sam Howell, Washington. Yep, that's who you're missing.
I did take them off my list.
Yeah, so, that's what you're missing. Washington, Sam Howell.
So I don't know if I might have to redo my list. Well, not redo it completely, but kind of I definitely don't see Howell being number 32. But I guess I'll put him there for now. So let me stop sharing, adjust that. Yep, that's why I removed off my list. So for right now, Washington fans, I'm going to have him at 32, but I do have to readjust my thing. So let me put. I know I was missing a quarterback, man. Watching quarterback. So Sam.
I mean, I think some guys you had a little higher than I did. I'm trying to think of who you had. I think you had Goff higher than I do.
Yeah, Goff I have at 15.
He had Fields lower than I did.
If Justin Fields is around at the top 20, or no, he's at 19.
Yeah, I got Fields at number 10, which
I got Dak at 10.
I could be wild for that, but I'm just a big Fields guy. I want to see him do.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see. I mean, definitely can move off my list or move up my list. But yeah, I'm trying. Definitely, I don't think Sam Howell's gonna be a bad quarterback. I did take him on my list though. So I think put it because I think I had him at 26 because I had Levis at 32.
Mm-hmm.
Then I put Levis with Tannehill at 21, so I left the spot for 32. Yeah. All right, that's my list. So for anyone who is tuning in, I have, since you can't see it, I didn't. For anyone who's watching, so number 1 I have Patrick Mahomes. Number 2 I have Burrow. Actually, you know what? Before
I would say, I mean, you could just put it back up and then just let them know that Howell you forgot, so you just put him at the end.
Yeah, let me do that. Screen window. I gotta go back to. Yeah, so I put Stan Howell, number 32, but Washington Commanders fan, do not get pissed. I kind of had him. I was missing the team, so I just throw him on there. But definitely this will be updated probably about like next week. Have to do some shuffling around. But I'm satisfied with my top 10. Just like after that, it's kind of shaky because like you never like all these question marks.
Mm-hmm.
Like with Baker Mayfield, who's gonna start Baker Mayfield trash? I think Baker Mayfield who's gonna start.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be trash. Yeah. If it's not, then Tampa Bay might have some serious questions.
But yeah, that's my list, y'all. And with that, I mean, I think that concludes the show. Because I work, close to 2.5 hours on air. So yeah, we'll be back for the running back list. Hopefully, it's not as shaky as the quarterback list for me. Hopefully, I don't forget a team. Hopefully, I don't forget about who's the running back for Washington.
Brian Robinson.
That's the,
I guess. Yep. Yeah. I think he's a starting running back.
Yeah, hopefully I don't get, I don't forget a team on the running back list. But yes, with that being said, I mean this will conclude the episode. I'm Jordan Jean Louis, aka JJL, aka Big J, like Gene likes to call it the JJL experience. And we got my boy Kyle Edwards on the show on the 1s and 2s. Like always, man. It's always a good show with you on here, man.
Yeah.
Definitely want to add some guests to the show, maybe some athletes, maybe down the road. But like always, you can find me on YouTube. I'm still debating if I should go stick to that route or go back to the audio and video too. But for right now, I'm doing the video strictly. So you can find me on YouTube at the JJO Sports Talk YouTube page, and also my Facebook. Both accounts, Jordan Jean Louis, and then I got the JJO Sports Talk group page. It's on there for the video format. I mean, if you still want to check out the audio episodes, are still on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and iHeartRadio and Amazon Music, I think. Basically, wherever you get your podcasts, Google Podcasts, it's all on there. And yeah, Kyle, I mean, same outro. You want to say your social media handles or your show link?
Oh yeah, I mean, you can find me on my channel, Chomping at the Bit. I do podcasts there, do some watch-alongs and stuff like that as well. Or I guess catch you when I'm not here or there over on Sports Empire Network.
Yeah. Well, we're definitely on Sports Empire Network. Me and Kyle are on the Big 3 on Tuesdays over on that network. So definitely check us out. I know we have a couple of shows coming up. We're supposed to have that show, the the cross podcast.
I
think
think they're still doing that tonight.
Okay.
Which I'll
So they're
definitely
gonna do
tune
like a
in for
little.
that.
Oh yeah, me too. But yeah, with that being said, I think that's a wrap for today's show, and we'll be back next week with the running back list. So
yes, and hopefully Dame has a new home next week because I can't do it, man.
Apparently, I think Portland's going to meet in Miami. I think today. I don't know.
Just get it done. Like at this point, I'm just like send him to Miami then.
Hopefully, go to Ruth Chris or Fode Chow and have dinner and talk. I don't know. But yeah, hopefully he's on a new team. We'll be talking about that. But we'll see. But with that, we are out.
See.